you so much. Madam Chair, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have now reached the climax of this program. The reason why we are here is time for the opening of the 73rd Annual New Year School and Conference. And to do this, I'll humbly invite our President, His Excellency Nana Addo Akufo. Please let's rise and welcome him to the podium. Kindly take your seats.
Chairperson, esteemed members of the University Council, the Vice Chancellor, Registrar, faculty, staff, and students of the University of Ghana, keynote speaker, World Bank Country Director, members of the Board of Trustees of the Annual New Year School and Conference, members of the University's Corporate Advisory Team, the Executive Chairman of the Jospon Group of Companies, fellow Ghanaians, ladies and gentlemen. It is always good to come back to the great hall of my alma mater, Ghana's premier university. Yes. The University of Ghana, which houses its premier hall, Legon Hall, the Hall of Gentlemen, to participate in the 73rd edition of the Annual New Year School and Conference. I thank the university for inviting me again to open this year's edition, which is on the theme COVID-19 and socioeconomic dynamics in Ghana. Chairperson, there are some who claim that the difficulties currently confronting our nation have nothing to do with the effects of the pandemic of COVID-19. They say they are purely Ghanaian phenomena which are due to economic mismanagement. I'm not disturbed by this contestation because the facts of the situation do not bear it out. But I do recognize the political necessity for them to sustain these falsehoods. As I indicated in my Christmas message to Ghanaians, that the pandemic has derailed the progress being made not only in Ghana, but also in all countries, big or small, in the world, is not to look for an excuse, but to state the obvious, stark reality. It is unfortunate, but it is true. And permit me to state some facts to make my point. COVID-19 has wreaked havoc on the lives and livelihoods of hundreds and hundreds of millions of people across the globe. And it has led to the deaths of some 5,600,000 people worldwide. Mercifully, God being so good, Ghana has recorded one of the lowest death rates in the world, numbering in total 1,379 so far. The pandemic has dampened economic activities through disruptions in global supply chains, which have led to sharp increases in freight rates, with drops in value creation and delays in shipments of major goods and services. It has resulted in widespread supply shortages and attendant dramatic price increases. It has slowed down global investments, and it has led to significant job losses. We are witnessing unprecedented volatility of stock markets and tighter global financing conditions. Tourism has declined considerably, resulting from border closures. Remittances have deteriorated, and all nations are seeing higher public debt burdens. The global economy went into recession in 2020 with a GDP growth of negative 3.2%, down from a pre-pandemic projection of positive 3.3%. Sub-Saharan Africa's economy also went into a recession in 2020 with GDP growth of negative 1.8%, down from a pre-pandemic growth projection of positive 3.6%. For the ECOWAS community, growth was negative 0.7%, down from a pre-pandemic projection of positive 3.8%. Ghana, however, escaped recession, managing a positive but greatly reduced rate of growth of 0.4%. Data from the International Labour Organization, ILO, shows that some 114 million jobs were lost the world over. The World Bank adds that the fallout from job losses and an overall downturn in economic activity drove an additional 40 million people into extreme poverty in Africa over the same period. It is important to state that in Ghana, however, there were no layoffs in the public sector and no cuts in salaries of public sector workers. Because government was determined to do whatever it could to protect the living standards of the people. In Ghana, the pandemic has impacted on all sectors of the economy, the agricultural sector being the least hit, thanks to the success of the program for planting for food and jobs. Data shows that the economy grew by 0.4% in 2020, with a nominal GDP of 383 billion cedis, compared to the pre-pandemic growth projection of 6.8%, with a nominal GDP of 398 billion cedis, translating into total output lost of some 14.6 billion cedis. In 2020, the industry sector contracted by 3.6%. The hotels and restaurant sector contracted by 34.8%. Trade, repair of vehicles, household goods contracted by 1.1%. Mining and quarrying contracted by 11%. Manufacturing slowed to a growth of 1.4%, down from 6.3% in 2019. Whilst professional, administrative, and support service activities contracted by 5.9%, down from an expansion of 5.1% in 2019. The result of all these contractions was evident in the fiscal data for 2020. Revenues were revised downwards by 13.4 billion cedis to reflect the impact of the pandemic as economic activities slowed. Expenditures were, however, revised upwards by some 11.7 billion cedis to accommodate the COVID-19 interventions that had to be implemented to contain the pandemic, provide relief to vulnerable segments of the population, and stimulate the economy. The combined fiscal impact was 25 billion cedis, meaning that the fiscal deficit had to be revised from 4.7% of GDP to 11.44%. From virtually all the macroeconomic indicators that we recorded in the year 2020, it is obvious that COVID-19 had a devastating impact on the economy. I must, however, put on record that but for the sound economic foundation built between 2017 to 2020, where on the average our economy grew annually by 7%, the impact of COVID-19 would have been even more devastating. For example, when the global food security situation was threatened, as many economies shut down and export of essential food items ceased, we in Ghana remained largely self-sufficient. We were able to feed ourselves thanks to the program for Planting for Food and Jobs. There were no food shortages, let alone food riots. Some of the other interventions put in place to cushion Ghanaians from the pandemic included the 1.1 billion CD health response package, which was used to procure supplies and equipment and institute a relief package for health workers. 1.6 billion CDs in support was made available to vulnerable households across the country, which went into food packages and hot meals and the provision of free water and electricity. 750 million CDs in soft loans and grants were also distributed to micro, small, and medium-sized businesses. Government found the money to recruit 24,285 more health professionals and spent some 1.9 billion CDs to ensure that our children and teaching staff at all levels returned to school safely and saved the year as they were able to sit for their BECE and the WACC with historic, spectacular results. The Bank of Ghana lowered the monetary policy rate by 150 base points to 14.5% and reduced the primary reserve requirement from 10% to 8% to provide more liquidity to banks to sustain critical sectors of the economy. The Ghana Revenue Authority extended the due dates for filing of taxes from 4 to 6 months after the end of the base year and waived taxes on selected third-tier pension withdrawals. All these measures notwithstanding, our first priority was the health and safety of our citizens. Indeed, a statement I made at the time, that we know how to bring the economy back to life, but we do not know how to bring people back to life, went, in today's parlance, viral and became the subject of much global commentary. We pioneered life-saving innovations that WHO has since replicated elsewhere, with Ghana and Korea touted as the two best nations in dealing with the pandemic when it struck. Our relative success, coupled with the delivery of 27 presidential updates, now christened the Fellow Ghanaians series, is a testament to the tireless work undertaken by our researchers, scientists, advisors, public health managers, frontline health workers, hospital staff, contact tracers, and so many others who dedicated themselves to the fight to keep Ghanaians safe. They made nonsense of the prediction by some influential people in the West that the streets of Africa would be littered with dead bodies as our public health systems would be overwhelmed. The proactive decisions taken by government to fight the pandemic, as well as revitalizing and transforming the economy with the 100 billion CD Ghana COVID-19 Alleviation and Revitalization of Enterprise Support, Ghana Cares, or Bantampa program, to create jobs and prosperity for Ghanaians over a 3-year period, have begun yielding results. The first phase of the Ghana Cares program, the phase of stabilization, came to an end in 2020. And the second phase, which started in 2021, aims at revitalizing and transforming the economy between 2021 and 2023, and is focused on supporting commercial farming and attracting educated youth into agriculture, building Ghana's light manufacturing sector, developing the engineering, machine tools, and ICT digital economy, developing Ghana's housing and construction industry, reviewing and optimizing the implementation of government flagships and key programs, and creating jobs for young people and expanding opportunities for the vulnerable in society, including physically challenged persons. I'm happy to report that this initiative is inspiring the desired dividends that we anticipated. As a result of government's policies, the economy grew at a provisional 5.2% in the first 3 quarters of 2021. This growth is expected to be sustained in the medium term. The overall real GDP for the medium term is projected to grow at an average rate of 5.6%, and we remain committed to returning to the fiscal deficit target threshold as enshrined in the Fiscal Responsibility Act, Act 982, from this year. We will continue along the path of promoting inclusive growth, encouraging investments, and improving the standard of living of our citizens. Government has taken further decisions that have provided the required impetus to stimulate the economy on several levels. Our investments in digitalization are helping to build efficient digital platforms for government businesses, deepen financial inclusion, and build a credible database of information to inform policies. All of these are being spurred on by the COVID-19 pandemic. These projects include national ID cards, digital property address systems, the Ghana.gov platform, the mobile money interoperability platform, the paperless port system, the digitalized land registry, the e-business registration, the integration of the Ghana card with the NHIS and the SNIT card, amongst others. Processes are ongoing to integrate all these platforms to establish a common source of information, data of which will be mined for insights to drive improvements in domestic revenue mobilization and help implement targeted social programs. Our long track record of democratic stability and ease of doing business places Ghana as an ideal destination for foreign direct investments, reinforcing her position as the trade and investment hub in the region. This is evidenced by the number of global companies such as Toyota, Volkswagen, Nissan, and Twitter that have set up operational facilities in Ghana. Google has set up its first African artificial intelligence center in Ghana. Ghanaian businesses also have the opportunity to exploit the full benefits of the coming into force of the African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA, especially as its secretariat is sited in Accra. Please excuse me. Towards addressing the unemployment situation in the country, the 2022 budget is focusing on building an entrepreneurial workforce. We've had extensive consultations with all relevant stakeholders and agreed on the U-Start initiative as part of the ways of operationalizing the Ghana Cares program to address the unemployment menace. To achieve this objective, government, in addition to its commitment to the free SHS policy, is putting greater and greater emphasis on STEM and TVET education to generate the skilled workforce we need for our industrial transformation. We've commenced the development of 20 STEM centers and 10 model STEM senior high schools across the country, which are at various stages of completion. Some of these schools will be operationalized during the course of this year. These institutions and centers will be fitted with state-of-the-art equipment and laboratories to facilitate teaching and learning in all areas of study, including artificial intelligence and robotics. 2 weeks ago, I cut the sword for the construction of the Accra STEM Academy, the first of its kind in our history, which will be devoted principally to the teaching and learning of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and which will be completed within 24 months. The You Start initiative is a key vehicle government intends to use to create 1 million jobs in the next 3 years. It is a comprehensive initiative and will provide an effective solution to the youth unemployment challenge this country has been confronted with over the years. It will support young entrepreneurs to gain access to capital, training, technical skills, and mentoring to enable them launch and operate their own businesses, as well as employ others. Young entrepreneurs under the initiative can apply for the following support through a dedicated You Start online portal. A, skills training and development. B, entrepreneurial support and business advisory services. C, competitive credit and startup packs. And D, mentoring and access to markets, including portals to facilitate digital linkages between youth-led enterprises and other businesses and relevant government agencies. Successful applicants will be eligible for 1, soft loans of up to 50,000 cedis to help startups, for young graduates and school leavers, and small businesses to expand. 2, starter packs for equipment acquisition, up to 50,000 cedis for individuals and 100,000 cedis for associations and groups. And 3, a standardized loan package between 100,000 cedis to 400,000 cedis at concessional rates for SMEs from financial institutions. Government is committed to harnessing and harvesting the creativity of the youth into economic dividends. I appeal to them to take advantage of the many opportunities available to them and make the best for themselves and Mother Ghana. Before I conclude, I want to urge all Ghanaians to get vaccinated and help end the spread of the virus in our country. The science tells us that getting vaccinated is the most efficient way to defeat the virus and go back to our normal way of life, reopen fully our economy, and return our nation onto the path of progress and prosperity. And for the skeptics, they should take note of the data that says that 80% of those who are currently infected are those who have not been vaccinated. That is enough to tell us about the value of vaccination. Government has succeeded in securing considerable quantities of vaccines for the country, numbering nearly 26 million doses so far, with more on the way. Thus far, a total of 10,451,662 vaccine doses have been administered, 7,070,719 persons have received at least one jab, with 3,380,949 persons fully vaccinated. So I entreat all those who have not been vaccinated to do so. Our responsibility to one another requires that we be vaccinated. As I said earlier on in my address, the pandemic has illustrated vividly the need for self-reliance in all areas of social and economic life. We have strengthened immeasurably the infrastructure of our sanitation sector with the active cooperation of one of the leading Ghanaian companies, the Just One Group of companies. We have embarked on enhancing our health infrastructure by the implementation of Agenda 111, which seeks to build district hospitals in all those districts without hospitals in order to improve access to health care for all Ghanaians. Government has encouraged and facilitated the domestic manufacture of personal protective equipment at the height of their global shortages, which has enabled Ghanaian companies today to be exporting such products within the ECOWAS community. It is key that we also break the cycle of dependence on foreigners in the fields of science and medicine as well. We should never again be in the situations of beggars that we were at the height of the pandemic, when we could not access vaccines, which were being hoarded by the rich, developed nations of the world. Charity, they quite rightly say, begins at home. It is not beyond our scientists and pharmaceutical companies, whose knowledge and expertise cannot be questioned, to produce an indigenous or Ghanaian vaccine to combat the virus. I'm happy to announce that Ghana is on her way to establishing domestic manufacturing plants for the fill, finish, and packaging of COVID-19 vaccines. I will on 16 February, together with His Excellency Monsieur Macky Sall, President of the Republic of Senegal, and His Excellency Mr. Paul Kagame, President of the Republic of Rwanda, inspect in Marburg, Germany, the production facilities that we need to employ to this end. We're going to build a Pan-African project with these two sister African states, where initially the fill and finish plant will be located in Ghana. BioNTech of Germany, the now renowned health technology company which works with Pfizer, has agreed to be our partner and will contribute also to the construction of a modular production facility for other vaccines as well, such as those for malaria and tuberculosis in Ghana. Government is determined to work with all stakeholders to see us through this crisis and all the challenges it has brought in its wake. We will continue to work proactively to protect the citizenry from the ravages of the pandemic. I appeal to all Ghanaians to stand shoulder to shoulder with my government as we work to return our nation onto the path of progress and prosperity within the confines of our open democratic institutions, which respect human rights, the rule of law, and the principle of democratic accountability. I am a firm, passionate believer in our national potential. I have no doubt that we have it in us to rise up and revive our fortunes. There are brighter days ahead for Mother Ghana. Indeed, this too shall pass, for the battle is still the Lord's. I wish you a happy new year, fruitful deliberations, and look forward to reading the report of your deliberations. Accordingly, Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, I declare the 73rd Annual New Year School and Conference duly open. May God bless us all in our homeland, Ghana, and make her great and strong. I thank you for your attention.
Please let's rise. Please let's rise to acknowledge the President, please. Kindly take your seats. Thank you. Your Excellency, we are so grateful to you. As usual, it's been illuminating and very straight to the point. Thank you very much. Madam Chair, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to introduce two groups of people. We have here in our midst the Pro-Vice Chancellor for the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Professor Ellis Owusu Dabo. The next group I would like to introduce is the resource persons for the annual New Year School and Conference. We have a lot of resource persons with diverse backgrounds. And so at this point, I would like to acknowledge all of you together, all the resource persons, the speakers, and moderators. It's a tall list. We acknowledge all of you. We thank you very much for availing yourself of this year's annual New Year School and Conference. It is now time to perform a very brief but important ceremony. This will be done by the President, but then I would like, it is the inauguration of the annual New Year School and Conference Corporate Advisory Team. At this point, I would like to invite our Vice Chancellor, Professor Nanaba Appiah-Amfo, to present the Corporate Advisory Team members. Thank you.
Thank you. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, Chancellor of the University of Ghana, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, after 7 decades of continuous delivery on what is set out to achieve, the annual New Year School and Conference is going through a rebranding and repositioning exercise to fit into the changing global dynamics in the competitive market environment. We are persuaded that institutional reforms and sustainability is driven by change through effective corporate governance structures. Hence, the need to form a corporate advisory team to serve as a critical bridge between the world of academia and industry to mobilize human, material, and financial resources to ensure the sustainability of the annual New Year School and Conference brand. The team will thus assist the university to create, develop, and manage resources for ensuring financial sustainability of the school and conference. To this end, a 9-member team has been appointed to serve the first term of 2 years and a possible second term of another 2 years. These are distinguished sons and daughters of our dear nation who are very accomplished personalities with high levels of integrity. I first of all thank the team members for accepting to serve in this capacity, and I present them as follows. The team is chaired by Honorable Sam Okujeto. Honorable, can you see? Yes. Honorable Sam Okujeto is a member of the Council of State of Ghana and a stalwart in Ghanaian and international law. Thank you very much. The next, so I present the members. Next is Dr. Ishmael Yamson. Dr. Yamson sends his apologies. He unfortunately cannot be here, but he's willingly accepted to do this. Dr. Yamson is a former chair of the University of Ghana Council with over 4 decades of experience in corporate governance. Dr. Yamson has been in the mill and out when it comes to governance in Ghana. The next member of the team is Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta. Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta is the Honorable Minister of Finance and has over 30 years' experience in the Ghanaian, African, and international financial sectors. Thank you very much, Honorable. Next, we have Honorable Akosua Frema Osei Opare. She also sent her apologies for very good reasons. Honorable Akosua Frema Osei Opare, the Chief of Staff at the Office of the President, the first female to be appointed to this position in the history of Ghana. Her astute performance, loyalty, and commitment to task and duty have earned her so much respect and numerous local and international awards. The next member of the team I will introduce is Dr. Joseph Siao Ejapong. Dr. Joseph Siao Ejapong is founder and executive chairman of the Jospon Group of Companies. He can best be described as a serial entrepreneur with a penchant for identifying business opportunities across various industries. Thank you very much, Dr. Siao Ejapong. Our next team member is Dr. Ernest Addison. He also couldn't be here, but again, he's also willingly accepted to do this. Dr. Ernest Addison is an economist and the 15th governor of the Bank of Ghana. He was the former director of research at the Bank of Ghana, as well as an economist at the African Development Bank. The next member of the team is Mr. Jack Andrews Doche. Mr. Jack Doche is a doctoral student of the Premier University and a past assistant governor of Rotary International District 9102. He is currently the chair of the technical team of the New Year School. Thank you very much, Mr. Doche. The next member of the team is Professor Olivia A.T.F. Kwapong. Professor Olivia Kwapong, Dean of the School of Continuing and Distance Education, has over 15 years' experience in organizing the annual New Year School and Conference. Thank you, Dean. And lastly, but certainly not the least, we have Mrs. Regina Afari Boating. She is the member secretary. Mrs. Regina Afari Boating is administrator of the School of Continuing and Distance Education. She has over 8 years' experience in university administration. Thank you, Mrs. Boating. I now have the pleasure of humbly inviting His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Akufo, to formally inaugurate the team, after which the Chancellor will join us to present to them their documents of inauguration. Thank you.
So what happened? They come here, what do they do? Or they sit where they are, or what do we do?
So can you please be on your...
Yes, so you can see. Chancellor, Vice Chancellor, it gives me great pleasure to inaugurate this advisory team the annual New Year School Corporate Advisory Team, which is composed of all these very distinguished figures, Ghanaian stars, chaired by the supreme all-rounder, eminent lawyer, one-time president of the Ghana Bar Association, entrepreneur. Many people don't know that. Successful entrepreneur, politician, parliamentarian, statesman, and now my valued counselor. The Honorable Samuel Okujeto. So, are they going to take an oath of some sort or hold up their hands? What do? They just accept. So I declare them formally inaugurated.
So we will now invite the members one after the other to take their certificates. Honorable Sam Okujeto, Chairman of the Advisory Board. The next on the list is Honorable Ken Uforiata, member of the advisory team. And next we have Dr. Joseph Sian Ejepong. As announced, Dr. Ernest Addison sends his apologies, but he sent a representative to take his certificate for him, and that's Mr. Eric Cranton. Mr. Eric Cranton. The next person is Mr. Jack Andrews Doche. And then we have Professor Olivia A.T.F. Kwapon. And the last but not least, Mrs. Regina Afaribuatin. On this note, I will invite the members here present to kindly join the President, the Chancellor, and the Vice Chancellor for a group photograph. Members of the Advisory Board here present, please join them for a group photograph. Thanks very much. Please take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, please note that we are live on the UG YouTube handle, and we are also live on TV3 and Graphic Online. We will proceed with our program by inviting our chair for this program and the chancellor for this university to deliver her closing remarks. Please let's welcome Mrs. Mary Chinwe Hesse.
Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we will soon come to the end of the opening ceremony of this 73rd Annual New Year School and Conference. Our special guest of honor, His Excellency Nana Addo Akufo Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana. The keynote speakers, Dr. Juliet Tuakli and Mr. Pierre Laporte. Our host, Professor Nanaba Apia Amfu, Vice Chancellor, University of Ghana. I would like to express appreciation to you and all other speakers for your insightful presentations in line with the theme for the 73rd Annual New Year School and Conference, COVID-19 and Socioeconomic Dynamics in Ghana. You have set the tone for discourse on the theme, and it is my expectation that panelists and participants in the school and conference will keep the momentum going and deliberate on strategies for economic resilience during and indeed beyond this global pandemic. Mr. President, your speech to us this morning was truly powerful. Shall we give him another round of applause? Your Excellency, in spite of the many challenges identified for us this morning by the speakers, relating especially to economic fluctuations, infrastructural deficits, and issues of health care, I am convinced that as a country, we have what it takes to re-engineer the economy back to a path of strong growth under the able leadership and guidance of yourself, Your Excellency President Akufo Addo, and your government. This has to be coupled with the abiding spirit and ingenuity of our business community and the good people of Ghana. And I am certain that the newly inaugurated corporate advisory team for the annual New Year School and Conference will play a key role in this regard. We will need to master the sense of community and collaboration needed to see us through this global crisis. I have faith that we shall surely overcome. The University of Ghana has and will continue to commit human resources to efforts towards coping with this pandemic. I use this opportunity to salute all our scientists, economists, psychologists, social workers, and others of the University of Ghana who have had respected voices on various aspects of the socioeconomic dynamics and effects of the pandemic on our individual and collective lives. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot predict when the COVID-19 pandemic will finally be eliminated. But in the meantime, fora such as this one will provide opportunities to discuss ways in which we as a nation can cope and indeed thrive during and after the pandemic. May this 73rd New Year School be counted among the best platforms which provided the most effective solutions for getting Ghana back on track the fastest. Amen. Well, now to the New Year School. I wish you fruitful deliberations. I thank you very much.
We thank you once more, Chancellor and Chair. Please let's rise for the University Anthem. Thanks very much. Please take your seats. Before I deliver the vote of thanks, I would like to thank all council members who made time to join us. We are very grateful for taking time off your busy schedules to join us for this important ceremony. Now, the vote of thanks. Your Excellency Nana Addo Akufo Addo, Madam Chancellor and Chair of this ceremony, Vice Chancellor, Pro-Vice Chancellors, Registrar, Provost, Deans, Directors, Ministers of State, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Nananom, participants of the 73rd Annual New Year School and Conference, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but also the parent of all others. So says an acclaimed writer. And I align with this writer to extend our profound gratitude to the Almighty God and all who have joined us both physically and virtually for this very important ceremony. To our cherished alumnus and proud son of the Premier University, Your Excellency Nana Addo Akufo Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana, we are grateful to you for not only gracing the occasion with your distinguished presence, but also for graciously performing the official opening of the school and conference. Mr. President, we truly appreciate you and your ministers of state for your unflinching support and dedication to the annual New Year School over the years. To our distinguished chairperson, Mrs. Mary Chinwe Hesse, Chancellor of this university, we say well done for effectively steering the program to a successful end. Madam Chancellor, we are ever grateful for your able leadership. We also say a very big thank you to our host and Vice Chancellor, Professor Nanaba Apia Amfo, together with the management of this university, for granting permission for this year's school and conference, and for taking time off your busy itineraries to grace this memorable occasion. Sincere thanks go to our keynote speakers, Dr. Juliet Wakli and Mr. Pierre Frank Laporte, for the insightful presentations they have shared with us. I have no doubt that the participants of the school and conference will have a lot of ideas to engage with to generate equally valuable ideas for future action. I must also mention our deep sense of gratitude to our proud sponsors and partners for their continued support. We look forward to many more years of fruitful collaborations with you. To all university officials here present, students, alumni, and participants of the 73rd Annual New Year School and Conference, we are very grateful. We also acknowledge members of the Planning Committee, led by Professor Olivia Kwapon, Dean of the School of Continuing and Distance Education, for doing a yeoman's job to enable this beautiful ceremony and the entire school. Ghana Dance Ensemble and Ghana Police Band, we say God richly bless you for your heartwarming performances. Finally, to our media fraternity, technical teams, and to all who played one role or the other to ensure a successful ceremony, we say Ayiko, and God richly bless you for your hard work and dedication. Once again, thank you for your kind attention and generous patronage. We thank you. Before we take the national anthem, I'll ask for permission to make 2 announcements. The first one is to seek the permission of our president to kindly grant us the opportunity to take a couple of group photographs with him before recession. The second one goes to the participants of the Annual New Year School and Conference. After here, please converge back at the CD Conference Center to continue to take lunch and to continue the proceedings for the day. Now, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please let's rise for the national anthem. Thanks very much. Please take your seats for us to finish the group photograph before the recession. So we will first of all, we'll do the group photographs here. And so we will first of all invite the platform party to join the president, the vice chancellor, and the chancellor for the first photograph. Yeah, please, the next group is the planning committee and technical team members who are present here. Please join the VC, the President, and the Chancellor for photographs. Yes, please. We are done with the photography. Please let's rise as the platform party recesses.